All right, so this is a somewhat difficult project. I will forewarn you in advance, but if you do follow it step by step, it's actually not that bad. It's way more complicated than it looks. Now, I gave you handouts, hopefully, that had this already on the back. If I didn't, those will be provided. There were some really basic instructions, but again, you have to follow exactly step by step. I've found that it's actually going to be much quicker if I provide you with a template where all of the measurements have already been made, so you don't have to worry about the first few steps of this. So if you look, it says to draw a grid that is 6 by 10. That is in inches because this was an American handout, and I often do go by inches as well, even though I should probably be better with centimeters, but it is a smaller, more manageable number. So the extra dots that get put on here, there's a border, and then there's some extra dots that go in between. Those are then connected with a diagonal grid, and I have started you up to the start of step 5. Now, what you're going to do, you're going to need a few things. So you're going to need, obviously, a pencil with an eraser. You'll need your white piece of paper, and you're going to need the template that I made for you. So the template that I made for you is, it's all pre-measured. And then you're also going to need just a small piece, you only need one little piece of green tape. Now the green tape is going to help you to anchor that to the back of your paper. All right. So I'm just going to look, and I might have to hold it up to the light just a tiny bit while I get it centered. And I don't know how well you'll be able to see through my page on the camera. But if you're really, really struggling with being able to see, hopefully people will have finished at different times with their last project, and just the shading of the original not worksheet that I gave you. But if not, you guys, as long as you are careful at the windows, you can use them to trace. You would just need like one extra little piece of tape on the front of it, and you can put that in the window to transfer the stuff as quickly as possible. I mean, we don't want to be standing at the windows forever. Now, ideally, you're also going to have a ruler. You may have noticed that the ruler drawer is getting empty-ish, so that might be something that you need to bring your own. So I'm just going to lightly transfer onto my page my first step, and that is that outside border. This is going to be the outside border of my, my Celtic knot here. And try to get your lines nice and even. I know it's easy if your ruler's even a little bit bent to have those go a bit crooked, but the straighter your lines are, the more beautiful your end product of this will be. If your project is not perfectly centered on the paper, don't worry about it. We can always trim it down a bit at the very end. So I have that first part done, and then I'm just going to transfer whatever dots I can see through my paper here, and that is going to take me a few minutes, so I'm going to put it on time lapse now, just while I get this done. All right, so at this point I have transferred all of my stuff. Some of it's lighter than others. You want it to be nice and light because a lot of it's going to get erased as you are working on the next step. So if we look up close, step 5, it says, now lightly drawing the 4 arched corners and next the curved edges. So the way that we're going to do that, it's a little bit complicated. You want to start from, I have one of them done for you, so let me just look here. So we're going to start, if I go to like the second diamond shape here, and I want that to arc to my point. So see how this is a diamond here, another diamond here. And if you want to, you can work with your ruler, but you can kind of freehand it as well. And that's just going to meet up above this diamond point. Okay? So it goes from here to here. And there's no really good way to measure it. You're just arcing from diamond point 1 to diamond point 2. And then I'm going to do the same thing, except the opposite way. So from above diamond point 1 over to diamond point 2. Okay? And I'm going to go around and I'm going to do that on each one of these. So here's your diamond 1, 2, arc up and over. Diamond to up here, diamond to up here. So you're just kind of continuing that diagonal line up and over, gentle curve. And my last one's over here. So curve up and following that diagonal line and curving up. Okay. Next up will be my rounded ones. And the rounded ones are a little bit different. I again have one of them started for you. So it's going to go between these two bumps here, just above your dot. The same thing up here. Okay, so we're thinking about this being the width, right? Each one of these, this is the width of like our rope that we're using to knot with. Okay, so we'll do the easy ones first. This one, whoa, a little bit too narrow. And I want to try to keep that thickness, so I'm just going to erase that. Okay. So those are our end ones. Those ones are very, very easy, but they do get a little bit more complicated if you look. Okay. So this bump, if it were to continue, comes up like this, and it's going to go back down. If you get super confused, you can kind of count your dots here, right? So it's always going to go, your lump underneath is going to skip over a bump. Skip over a bump, connect in the same direction as this. Skip. So then my next one, I'm actually going to start, they overlap, so they crisscross a bit. So this rope over here continues up, goes over the bump, back down, and this one continues down here to create that bump. So from here, over, oh, not there. So again, over the bump, and this one's going to connect over to here. So I'll do that around the next one as well. And if you're super lucky, maybe I'll leave you this part already done. We'll see. You can try it either way. If you're really struggling, maybe I'll have some extra ones. All right. So again, I'm continuing over the bump, continuing this line, comes up and back down to meet its friend over here. This one continues up, over the bump, and back down to meet its friend over here. So it should kind of look like a braid or a very complicated knot, which is what this assignment actually is. Okay. And we also have to do our points. So I did trace one of the points in. These ones are easy. And just point. Just like that. They're just a little bit above there. So the reason why I'm not just letting you draw on the photocopies that I measured out, there is actually a reason, not just because I like for you to have extra work. The reason is you wouldn't be able to erase my guidelines for the next step. All right. So once this is done, you are ready to move on to the next step. Okay, so now that you have all the grunt work done, all the annoying measuring, this is the funner part. So your knot, if you look at it, okay, this one here is going to be different than your knot. All right, your knot can work any way you would like. It should connect. You're going to decide what parts go over what other parts. So for example, I'm going to erase this part right here. And I can't actually, oh, yeah, I can erase pretty well. You should be able to erase well if you have done your best in order to draw lightly. And because I went over this one, I think I'm going to go under the next one. So then I'll darken up this line and I'll erase this dot here I don't need and this line. All right. So then this one went under, and I can either have it go over this one or under this one. It's totally up to you. So I think just for mine, I'm going to have it continue that same pattern where I'm going over, under, over, under, over, under. But you might do yours differently. So I'm going to go to the next one. Again, this one, I'm going to go under. Why? Because that was my choice. You may choose differently. All right, so you're going to continue on like that. I don't imagine that you'll get much further than this in the class, but if you do, you know, you're going to finish up your knot so that it is interesting to look at. You can also erase your extra border that isn't part of your knot when you're all done. Okay, so good luck with this. It is a challenging assignment, but I know that you guys can do it. And I have some really exciting stuff planned for the coloring part. So hopefully you guys will be okay. All right. And if you get super frustrated, just take a breath. And worst case scenario, draw for a few minutes in your sketchbook and come back to it. Okay? Have a great day.